All right, guys. I've kind of decided to. I've got a photo host website, and they're threatening to, shut it down and stuff unless I resubscribe or whatever. And I'm not going to do it because I've had enough of them. That's kind of why I went to YouTube. But anyway, I've got a lot of car forum stuff that I've done through the years, and there's lots of pictures of old cars I've built on there. So anyway, what I've decided to do is just do some video logs off of the internet with the pictures, and then that way I don't have to mess with that photo host site anymore. And they can do what they want. Anyway, I'm at try5.com, which I've been a member of since 2006, but I thought I'd start off, and I've got quite a few build threads at that site. Now I have thrown together quite a few Try5 cars and a lot of four-door cars. Since the 90s, and luckily, several of these I've got on this forum. Back when I was doing this, the four-door Bel Airs and, well, any actually four-door 210 or whatever, they were pretty easy for me to find with all the small towns and all the people that I knew and family knew. And, you'd ask a few people and they'd call somebody and they'd call somebody, and next thing you know, Joe Blow down by the river's got one down there in the woods. I got lucky, basically, and I found tons of cars. And I actually, for a few years, I would go buy Try5 four-door cars and drag them home, and I'd sell them. And I'd made a pretty good living off of that for a while. And then it started drying up pretty quick. And I kind of run out of my... everything I knew of is pretty much dried up, basically. But anyway, I'll start off with this one. Now, this was kind of a rat rod style build, I guess you'd say. Now I bought this car. There's the date on it there, which I don't have my glasses on. I can't read. I think it says 6/8/2008. My wife and I went on vacation to Branson, Missouri. Now my wife's parents, they live in Welch, Oklahoma, which is a really small cow town. Anyway, we dropped our dog off with them to watch him for the weekend that we were going to be gone, And so we went on to Branson. Well, on the way back, there had been a big rain and a heavy flood, and the road was blocked off to go back to their house on the highway. So they had a detour down some dirt roads. So I took this detour, and we're sitting there talking, and I just happened to look out to the right, and out in this field in Welch is this 57 Chevy right here. So I just pulled right on in there. There was a guy outside, and we started talking. Car was for sale. It was funny because he asked me who I was, and I told him who my father-in-law was. Now, my father-in-law owned a self-serve gas station for years, or full service gas station for years in Welch. Everybody in that community knew who he was. This guy actually was my father-in-law's barber. Now, how ironic that is, Anyway, he'd restored a two-door hardtop Bel Air 57 that had just about every option you could think of, and it was in his shop over there. And so I went over and I looked at that car. Come to find out, there was actually this 57 and another four-door 57, and I cannot remember. I want to say it was $500 for everything. And this is exactly the way the car was. The front clip was gone, and motor tranny was gone, but the body on the car was actually pretty dang nice, and it was original paint. But anyway, this guy had this other four-door 57 in his barn right here. He'd actually cut it up to pieces. I don't know if he patched in his hardtop quarters or what he did, but that was pretty much the way it was. The rear end was gone, the leaf springs were gone. We ended up leaving that car there, but we spent a whole day over there, and we stripped it, me and a friend of mine. We took the doors, we took everything. I think I even took the front end suspension off the chassis. But there was lots of parts in it. The front seat that was in the car was actually pretty decent, so we took it. But anyway, that's the car after we drug it to my driveway and unloaded it. We'd loaded it. The guy had a shed and it was full of parts, and he gave me every extra part he had. The dash, I mean, everything was still on the dash. The factory steering wheel, everything was still on it. It was kind of funny. I can't remember what years he said that he had bought the cars and they had set, but this is it. And what I actually done, I just made my rounds. I went to a couple salvage yards, and one of the salvage yards in particular had like a mid-80s S10 Blazer 2-wheel drive, and it had those 5-slot mags on it. I got those wheels, I think, for $150 or something like that. I don't remember. I went to a wheel and tire shop in Tulsa, and they had the largest selection of center caps and stuff that I have ever seen. I got 4 brand new center caps. I bought the mag style lug nuts. I bought everything from him. I went by my local Pep Boys, bought 4 brand new tires. But anyway, that was my wheels. Now that black car that was in the barn, the front clip was nice. So I ended up bolting that front clip on there. You know, I didn't do any body work or paint work or anything on the car. It was just kind of a throw together rat rod style. I had a used 305 out of my dad's truck. It was very high mileage. I put it in there. One of those 57s had the original 2-barrel and an intake manifold in the trunk. So I put a kit in the carburetor, and I used that intake carb on that 305. So it actually looked like an original, 283 from 57 when I was done. I had a used Longtail Turbo 350 that I put in the car. Now I bought a cross-member kit from H&H Classic Chevy, and I bought the linkage kit to make your column shifter work automatic, and I bought the indicator for the lens and all that for the speedometer housing. But I put all brand new wiring harness in it. I think I put a new radiator in it. I think I did a new gas tank, or I just cleaned it. I don't remember, but it was really, really low budget, and pretty much threw the car together. And I tell you, that car, it rode good, it drove good, and it was fairly dependable. I ended up selling it locally to an older man, and he took it straight to a paint shop and had it painted back red and white. And it ended up being a pretty nice car, and he had the upholstery all redone and everything. That's pretty much the last picture I've got of the car. You can see my wife's 71 Chevelle in the background I built for her. But anyway, that 57, I just pretty much bolted it together. But that grill bar in that grill, he had it wrapped up in his shed. And that thing was freaking nice for an original piece. And it wasn't cracked. Those are really prone to cracking, especially around the crest. So I got lucky there. But anyway, it ended up being a pretty nice car. I put all new, wiring and everything, and headlights and bulbs and everything in it. I mean, it got everything working on it. It was just a good old rat rod. I kind of wish I still had it to drive for daily, but back then, if I found something, I'd go snag it, and drag it in, and I'd sell the one I just fixed and to build another one. And it was just an endless process for me.